Welcome back, and we're going to jailbreak Minthara. Before we do that, let's level up real quick. Let's take a look at what spells we've got access to. Dimension Door is pretty good. We've got some scrolls of it. Confusion is arguably good. Could just pick up Chromatic Orb, so we've got a lower level spell that we can spam. That might work well with the lightning damage that Shadowheart's able to do, and lets us work around Fire Immune. Take a look at the spells that we've got. We've got a Nice Storm, Counterspell, Fireball, Haste, which we've not really been using very much, Misty Step, Scorching Ray, Magic Missile, and Shield, all pretty good. We have the ability to pick up a new feat. So one that might jump out at us would be Elemental Adept Fire. This allows us to bypass fire immunity. That's good, and I'm not sure if we'll want it. There's quite a bit of fire resistant stuff in this act, but we have ways of working around it. I think that I would rather just take the ability score improvement. And remember, we've got Ethel's Hair, so this will go up to 20. So that's going to add 1 to our spell DCs, 1 to our hit rolls, 1 to our damage. Shadowheart, we're not going to continue leveling Bard, we're going to continue leveling Cleric. Let's take a look at what we get. We get a Channel Divinity charge. It's Destructive Wrath, so when we roll Thunder or Lightning damage, we can use the Channel Divinity charge to deal maximum damage instead. So super powerful. We can drop one of our glyphs and just decide that it does maximum damage. If we're smart, we throw some water beforehand so it does double maximum damage. For Karlach, we'll continue advancing Thief. We get some new abilities, so we can use our bonus action to disengage or dash or hide. So pretty good. More mobility is better for Karlach. Next level we'll pick up an additional bonus action, which is absolutely great. For Astarion, we have already picked up Tavern Brawler, which is probably the best thing that we can get. We could choose Lucky to enable us to reroll hits against him or to reroll misses. So we are going to miss sometimes. It's not very easy for us to get advantage. We're not really committed as a caster with Astarion, where we might want to try to pump his wisdom higher and higher and higher. We could, if we wanted to not shapeshift, work into some other mechanism for dealing a whole bunch of damage. A good example of that would be like Spell Sniper with Eldritch Blast. So we would be able to shoot 2 blasts. At 10, we'd be able to shoot 3, so 3d10 as a resource-free damage is not terrible, but the owlbear hits for almost that much damage per swipe. So probably not going to take that. I think our best bet is Lucky. There are some other compellers, right? So we could take Sentinel and try to stop things moving away from us. I haven't really seen very much of that. We could take Skill to try to prop up. We could take Warcaster or Resilient Constitution to try to maintain our spells. We're not really spending a lot of time doing that. Mostly we're summoning with our Druid spells. So might come into play later, and we allowed ourselves to do retraining on this playthrough. So I just think we'll probably be fine. I didn't do that on the last playthrough, specifically because it just adds a lot of complexity to the game to switch builds partway through and then relearn the characters. And I wanted to make sure that anyone that was following the guide wouldn't have to work very hard. So we'll walk in just like we own the place. And we get J.K. Simmons.
General, the facts suggest otherwise. If I had been given... Oi! What? Use. Enough!
Let me make sure.
Yes.
You blame the Absolutes.
Of course it is.
Who's then?
We'll just watch.
The goblins.
You. And what would you...
They are put to...
True. Ultimate. Night Warden.
No!
Make her passing slow, disciple Zarel.
We'll just watch.
Take her below.
No! What?
I'm so sorry, my lord.
And here we get to see that it's really hard to kill
Dispose of the rest as you...
Ketheric Thorm.
Of course not, my lord. You heard the general. The goblins are yours. Deal with them however you wish.
And we'll nod curtly.
Please! You gotta help me! For old time's sake!
So Gale killed every single goblin in camp, right? I don't think he's cruel enough to watch them bleed all over the floor. I don't think he's interested in fighting them either. We'll just tell them not to breathe anymore. Asterion approves because it's a display of cruelty. Karlach doesn't like it because it's disturbing. Yet, we could have just killed them instead. She probably would have been okay with that. So, she's more concerned with how we did it than that we did it.
We must learn more about his power.
Alright, so we'll head down, and she's going to be in here. But we have one thing that we're going to do beforehand.
Where to?
These scrying eyes are a big pain. So we're going to wait. I think she's too close still. So we'll have to catch him on the path back. We're going to try and throw him into the chasm here. The scrying eyes are really problematic for us. They're going to call guards. They will freak out if we try to escape with Minthara. They're just generally annoying. If that patrolling guard hadn't have been there, it would have been a good time to deal with them. But they're not synced, so we just have to wait a little bit. One of them goes in here and floats around, and then it'll be coming back. The other one goes down here and comes back. Right, and the other guard is not coming here, so we'll just wait till it's around here. I think she is still too close. Timing. I did not want to have to deal with this adept also.
Roland better be alright.
Yeah, she's pathing back already, so they're out of sync. We just caught them while they were synced up. She should be far enough away by the time this one comes back. And we'll just wait for the next one to come in. They're also able to be damaged with thunder damage, but it's a much bigger hassle. They have this ethereal form that subtracts the first 8 or 10 points of damage that they take. Alright, that should make getting Minthara out quite a bit easier, because we can just put invisibility on her and it won't get dispelled by the scrying eyes.
It shall be done.
So when we come in, we'll find these two interrogators trying to mind wipe Minthara. We'll shut the door, break the party apart. We could go into owlbear form. As always, it's a great thing to do to open up the combat. And we'll just jump in.
I don't fancy their chances.
Just take a pot shot. Bang. Minthara will immediately try to kill them. Oh, dipped in poison is nice. We'll try slashing flourish. And we'll do it again. One on her and one on the other one. And then we'll try to finish her off. This is interesting. We've got Saris, who we've not met, who's in Last Light in this combat for some reason. Let's do Flurry of Blows.
I expected to be greeted as a hero. I didn't think anyone would come for me.
What were they doing?
My thoughts and my will.
We'll need to get out of here.
I will pretend the interrogators finished their work. Lead the way.
So we could try to convince them to let her go, or we can just cast invisibility on her and walk out. The eyes would be able to dispel it, but we killed them, so it shouldn't be an issue. So we'll have Shadowheart, make her invisible.
Which way to the nearest library? Right.
And we should just be able to walk right out the door. Now, if we wanted to, we could clear out the rest of the prison as well.
I last left Moonrise as a commander.
Now I lead
The artifact, the prison, her mind.
There is much we must discuss. Do you have a safe place? Goodbye for now.
Anytime that we recruit someone new, everybody approves. So we'll pull Minthara in. And we take a look out here. So this is the docks. There is a boat. We see it sort of sailing away. And we see that boat again in Act 3. And there are some crates over here with the Zentarium logo, so if Roa wasn't enough reason to believe that, we'll know that that's there. So let's head back to camp. And let's chat with Minthara.
It does not come. Thank you. Each member. They broke my mind.
It's time for revenge.
Precisely. While our we must eradicate them. Starting with General Thorm. I mean, not only this, swear that you will keep me close. Until the Absolute is dead, at least.
I like that Minthara has one of the better reasons for joining us, and it's this right here, and I love the answer.
I am. If If I leave your side, the prism will no longer protect me, and I will cease to be I would rather die.
So she knows that if she leaves us, that she won't be herself anymore. So she is compelled to help us. Us winning is how she remains alive.
Thank you. I knew you were different. Now, thanks to the rest well. And keep your wits about you. Tomorrow. You wish to consult me? There's
We'll
no
have her
space for
join,
me.
and she can
I
swap out
suggest you
for
meet
Karlak for the moment. And we can take a look
our
at
enemies
what we're
stand
working
tall.
with here. She is an Oath of Vengeance Paladin, and she already has some tadpole powers. So she's actually already got Concentrated Blast, Psionic Backlash, Favorable Beginnings, and Charm. So we'll probably want Call the Weak on her right away. Her stat array is focused on strength, which we drink our strength potions, so not something we need to do. We're going to need to rebuild her. And we've got lots of options if we want to stay in keeping with Paladin. So Paladin pairs really nicely with several other of the Charisma classes. So Sorcerer, Warlock, and Bard. Let's think about what we want to do. So if we pair with Sorcerer, Gale's a Sorcerer, we could do sort of a Thunder-based character, although Gale's mostly Fire-based. We could do a Bard Paladin where we use the Bardic inspirations to do flourishes to increase our armor class or move people around. And we can do that on top of smites, so it's just even more front-loaded smite damage. We could do a Warlock, which means we get some spell points back on a short rest, and we become a little bit more like Karlak and somewhat Shadowheart, where we're based on short rest mechanics to get our abilities back. That's kind of nice, but it's a big commitment to do that for paladins, and honestly, you probably want more than 2 smites, so you will generally be mixing that a little bit. It just gives them a couple of low-level smites usually. I think Bard Paladin sounds interesting. It's not something that I see a lot. Sorcerer Paladin is also interesting. I might try dual wielding Bard Paladin. Sounds interesting. So we would pick up 2 weapon fighting from Bard and probably protection from Paladin, and we can go Swords Bard, just similar to Shadowheart, and use just ranged weapons at range and a bunch of smites up close with a lot of extra spells. That sounds interesting. So like two Paladin, 6 Bard maybe. So we're level 8. What are our other options? We could take 6 levels of Paladin for multi-attack and a couple levels of Sorcerer. We could take 5 levels of Warlock and 3 levels of Paladin to get the Pact Blade, or 6 levels of Paladin and 2 levels of Warlock. I don't think I've never played a Bard lock before, or a Bardadin before, so I think that's what I'm going to try. And if we don't like it, we'll just rebuild.
I would have words with you.
Ah, I shall be here in like as thou.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're not in armor. Uh, let's equip something
At your command.
before YouTube gives me the yell. So we'll just put on, I think, did we have an extra set of armor? Yeah, we've had an extra set of armor here. So now let's try it.
Thou walkest alone.
Yeah,
Love is no and
we don't really care about Withers complaining about our
as
love
thou
life.
require, and as thou
Alright, so better. We're not going to get into too much trouble, I think. So we will start off with the same class. So we'll start off with Paladin. Athletics is good. Intimidation is also okay. That sounds alright. We're not going to prioritize strength. We'll prioritize dexterity and charisma. And constitution. And I think that that is probably about it. So what are we going to take for feats? So we get one, and then probably two, maybe a third if we do 4 levels of paladin. I'm more tempted to take 2 levels of fighter at that point in time to get action surge. Okay, so we will take what for feats? Um, so we're dual wielding. We're not really going to be using Polearm Master. We're not going to really be using. We maybe could take Sharpshooter to do some damage at range. We could just take stat bonuses, maybe. So we could take a stat bonus and get a bunch of additional con and some to hit. I mean, our to hit is gonna be coming from strength, so there's no reason to overinvest in dexterity. And I don't think we're gonna take Tavern Brawler because we're probably not gonna be throwing. So we can get 2 more points of native strength, I guess. Or maybe we'll not suffer a penalty to our saves. Maybe that'd be good. All right, so 16 dex, 16 charisma, 14 constitution, 10 strength, 10 wisdom, 8 intelligence, don't need it. Pick up a fighting style. Great weapon fighting would be pretty good if we were going for the big weapon build. Protection if we were using a shield. Dueling, not so much, so we'll take defense. And that is it for Paladin. Let's swap over to Bard. For cantrips, take Mage Hand and Blade Ward to try to keep standing if we're taking a beating. I'll take Disguise Self, so that we're a drow and we can run around. Take Thunder Wave. Take Healing Word maybe, and put another character in the party with Longstrider. What would she play? She'll play a violin. And we pick up an additional ability here. We could choose Deception, Performance, and make another character pretty good at sleight of hand. So I think we open more locks than we do have other people than Gale talk. We got more spells. Maybe use sleep to knock people out that are close to the end of their hit points. And College of Lore, we're going to take College of Swords, which basically will work like small smites. Specialize in athletics and sleight of hand. So again, we're really good at stealing. Get an additional spell. Don't need knock, we just got good at that. We could take enhance ability, or shatter is not bad, so we can do some area of effect. For fighting style, we'll take 2 weapon fighting, and we'll try and run around with 2 swords or something. Pick up another cantrip. We'll take the one that allows us to reposition. More spells. Maybe invisibility to get in and out of places. So sharpshooter's pretty good. There's nothing similar to that on smaller weapons here, so. We could take dual wielder to be able to use long swords in both hands. That would be interesting. And a bonus to attack, or a bonus to our armor class. Is maybe not a bad idea. We could use like Falara Luve and something else, or maybe the Knife of the Undermountain King and something else to lower our crit range. Yeah, that'll be interesting. We'll try that. Our other option would be to get more sharpshooter, and I think that this would encourage us too much to try to do damage at range. So this will take dual wielder, and that'll try to push us into running into combat like a paladin ought. So Glyph Warding is the big winner here for 5th level spells. At 6th level Bard, we're going to pick up extra attack. So we'll have 1 attack, 2 attack, and then an offhand attack. All of them something that we can crit with. And let's see, probably Hypnotic Pattern, I guess, or maybe Fear. Take a look at our spells. We still got Sleep. I don't really know that we would need it. Enhanceability is pretty good. We have a Astarion who has it. I don't know. I think we'll just live without. So let's take a look at Minthara for equipment. Okay, so not very good. She again would probably want the Diadem of Arcane Synergy, so when we inflict a condition like Ability Drain, then we would get Arcane Synergy to add our casting stat to our damage. Let's see, we can prevent crits. It's probably the best. We can give Shadowheart the Marksmanship hat, actually, so plus to hit versus plus to damage. Hard to say. I don't think that Minthara will have the same problems hitting. Let's see what we've got for give her the Wondrous Gloves since she's going to be in the mix in combat. Boots of Speed are equipped. Boots of Striding. Can't be knocked prone. What have we got in the way of weapons? I mean, I don't think that that's right because we definitely have other weapons, but perhaps Karlach, yeah, Karlach is carrying them. So we'll send this to Gale. Don't need the Returning Pike. Ritual Dagger, Leviator Scourge. Does a little bit of a chain, so we might try that. And we still have a Githyanki sword. Amulet of Branding, Ring of Absolute Force. We're gonna put the Ring of Absolute Force on Shadowheart because we're gonna use the Drakethroat Glaive to enhance her weapons. We could also use that on Minthara, I guess. Either way. Getting heroism when we use our channel oath spells, interesting. She's the only one that has them, so we might try it. Deal damage with a cantrip, we get arcane synergy. How likely are we to do damage with a cantrip with Minthara? Not very. So we'll hold off on that. That's probably more of something that we would. Acid Cold, Thunder, using a spell or cantrip. That element infuses your weapon. This might be okay because we do have an elemental spell for her. More hit points is maybe good too. And Gloves of the Growling Underdog is pretty good for her as well. We're expecting her to be in the mix. So we'll give her these for the armor class. So starting, so we'll do Knife of the Undermountain King will be an offhand weapon. Well, I guess we have to equip the main hand weapon first. So let's do Falar Luve, Knife of the Undermountain King. We'll give Shadowheart the Sentinel Shield. And the Club of Hill Giant Strength just in case. We could also have Minthara use that and save on picking up another weapon for now. Let's see, 7 to 12 or 5 to 8. Okay, we'll try this and see how it works. A Misty Step would maybe be nice. As for rings, do we have anything that we're constantly concentrating on? No, Shadowheart does. All right. So we've got Minthara pretty much decked out. And we'll swap in the Near Messer so we can do some force damage. And did we pick up any other equipment that was really, really worth using right away? We want to enchant with the Drake Throat Glaive. Okay. I think we're all right for adding Minthara to the party for now. And we'll take a look maybe at the next video at where we want to go. Do we want to start patrolling Rethwin Town? Do we want to work on prisoners? Do we want to depopulate Moonrise? What is our plan? So I'll think about that. I'm leaning on, I think, Rethwin Town. I'm leaning on going through and dealing with the Thorms first. We'll see how we go. All right. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you in the next video.